Hi, it's Xanthe. We're going to just look at colour again today, and I'm just going to apply some makeup and talk about various things like hair colour, etc. Sort of between that one and then it's neutral. We'll go neutral today. So anyway, I thought that I would just apply just very minimal makeup today, like I usually do, but just looking at these colours. So this colour you might think, oh, it's quite light, and yeah, it generally is quite light, it's muted. This one is a deeper colour, and a darker colour, it's like a dark green. So if you're looking at this model, this colour is sort of in the sort of between the green and the cyan kind of region, but very dark, whereas this one is slightly warm. So this is slightly cool and this is slightly warm, so it's just but it's not really pale like in that region. It's slightly muted into somewhere in between. That's a little touch of yellow in it. It's also got the touch of the green in it, and the reason why I chose this green is because I can see it in the stripes, and that's all muted, so you don't have to follow the rules. You can just wear what you like, really. Although I am just going to pick something that kind of coordinates, I think, and I'll just show you what bright and light. The lightest and brightest colour is white. The lightest value. This is like a bright white tea towel, just how it looks on me. Just got my glasses so you can see better. So whereas I think this colour is generally better, so it's tending towards the opposite end. So black is like the darkest colour, so there's a whole bunch of greys in between from white to black, and then the colours going away from these true neutrals, you get the chroma. So anyway, there's different ways you can talk about colour, but I don't like stark white on me. Soft white is okay, but again I prefer it if it's mixed. So like this is a lighter colour, but it's a muted colour. I prefer it's mixed with a darker colour. That's my preference. It all comes down to preferences at the end of the day. I have I've picked out some colours which I might use, and just to kind of go kind of reasonably neutral. My colouring is considered to be neutral. When I had my colours done 30 odd years ago, the colour analyst said that I was warm leaning neutral. So I was typed as a deep autumn. Now I have you see online people going on about all this stuff, and nothing much has changed since the 90s. In the 80s it was more just 4 seasons. In the West the seasonal model is the most popular, but in Korea they use more of a tonal model, and what's interesting about that is I think it's more in line with colour theory. So looking at the the dark, the deep, and they've got the pale and the light or whatever, because the lighting's always changing, even natural lighting, and also you're getting reflections from all the objects around you, so they will play a part as well. So what I tend to do when I want just not to wear foundation, just when I want to even my skin tone out a bit, I use a little bit of a peach colour corrector and a concealer which is a little bit lighter, so it ends up being peachier than my skin tone. But when you apply it to the darker areas, like the under eyes, directly over the areas and the darkest parts of the hyperpigmentation, it just tends to bring it closer to the rest of my skin tone, which is basically in cosmetics world a variation of a beige or a very desaturated peach, to the point where it has olive qualities to it. So I'm just using that just to make me look a little bit less like a patchwork, because my complexion is a bit patchy, and I think that not highlighting that just sort of just kind of brings everything together. Also I have quite a reasonably neutral and pretty muted complexion, so what happens is I do benefit from adding a bit of lip colour and a bit of cheek colour. Now I'm just going to blend it out with a slightly larger brush. So I haven't tried to make everything flawless and perfect. All I've done is just apply to the darkest areas, the blotchy parts, the anything that kind of just stands out, a bit much, and just sort of what it does is it will look almost invisible on the skin. You'd have to look really, really close to see that I'm wearing makeup, especially when I just tap it in. So just, I don't apply the whole area and don't apply it heavy at all. Like, it's just enough to just sort of smooth things out of it. It's just my preference. So then what I like to do if I'm not wearing foundation is I've got this powder here. Just very fine dusting of it. If you don't bake it, what they pile it on really thick, and you don't want to wedge it all dried out. So just a little bit. It just helps with the shiny areas, I find. Tap off the excess. So I just want. You're seeing a little bit of a natural flush right now. I'm feeling a little bit hot. Got my window shut because of the to keep the sound out from outside. I'm going to have to open my window. So my natural flush tends to, in most cases, kind of look a bit brownish. So anyway, I won't apply too much blush then. So the biggest difference for me is actually applying a little bit of lip colour. Now I did get this one which is more of a lip balm with a tint. I've tried it on once. It's very sheer. It was like deciding between that one or the plum one. So I decided to go with the warmer one because I've got plum tone lipsticks. I'm going to show you that it doesn't really show up at all. It's very subtle, so it's definitely just a lip balm with a tint in it. I mean, it's quite nice, it's very subtle, but I'm actually just going to mix a bit of lipstick into it. So I've got a couple that I'm interested in. This one's a Teak Rose, and it's a Revlon one. So this one here was a Nude by Nature. This one's Rum Raisin. So they're... To decide between them, if I know they're in the kind of ballpark, these will be, they're quite muted, they're sort of slightly warm neutral, sort of make up my mind. I kind of compare, which one. So take that one off and just apply the Rum Raisin. So this is a nice nude for me. If I go for any lipsticks labelled nude, they look generally terrible. So I kind of need something that's got a bit more colour in it, a bit more pigment. I'm just going to try the sheer one over the top. So I'm definitely going to just use that as a lip balm. It's advertised, this one. Just a little bit of shimmer. And as far as blush is concerned, I've just pulled out a couple of hydrating options. So, where should I put them? The Nude by Nature's here. I've got the peach, which will again kind of be a little bit perhaps warm and a little bit light. And then I've got the Nude Berry, which I wear more often, which is a little bit pinky. But again, I'll just choose which I think it will work if I mix them together. And I'm going to go mostly Nude Berry with a tiny bit of peach. So, and I'm just going to mix it on my face. So they're nice, yeah, they're Nude by Nature Hydra Sticks they're called, so they're quite hydrating. So I'm going to go mostly with this one, which has a touch of violet, but it also has the warmer iron oxides. And then I'm just going to put a tiny bit of the peach in, so just warm it slightly. And blend them together. So it's just adding a little bit of flush to my cheeks. So I've been told to put it above your nose line, especially when you're middle-aged like me, sort of supposed to help lift your face and go higher and kind of into that eye socket area, pretty much almost into there. That'll do. As far as a bronzer is concerned, this is one that I bought again by Nude by Nature. It's an Australian company. This one is called Cinnamon. I'm not really sure yet whether I like it or not, but I'm just not going to bother with that today, although that probably could work well. I am going to just apply a little bit of eyeshadow and then finish up, and then we'll talk about hair colours if I have time. So I've just picked a Chi Chi, which is another Australian brand. It's called, they're Cool Browns, but I think they're actually just neutral, slightly warms, to be honest. Sometimes that what it's called doesn't really make sense. Oh, first up, I forgot, I'm just going to put a little bit of powder under my eyes, so just using a little bit of this, it's a banana tinted powder, same as translucent powder, but it's not white, it's yellowish, because anything that's got too much white just sits on top of my skin. So we're going to come back to this eyeshadow, but I thought, just to keep everything creamy, I'll just use a little bit of this cream eyeshadow. I think it's discontinued, it's a Revlon Colour Stay Caramel. Just thought I'd just use a little bit of it as a base, and just to kind of there, and then I'm just going to apply a little bit of these eyeshadows. So tend to prefer medium shades like that one to dark shades. I probably would not use these ones with a lot of white in them at all, but the ones that are, you know, sort of metallic shimmers and stuff, quite happily use as well. So I tend to use more of a neutral like that for just kind of this area here, just to create more of a suggestion of a crease, because I've got what gets called hooded eyes. So we're just creating a bit of soft dimension, not going very dark with the eyeshadow. Now if I wanted to, if I could be bothered, if I wanted to go with this top more, I could choose like a green like that and use it as an eyeliner, but I'm not sure if I'm going to bother today. I think I'm just going to skip mascara and skip foundation and skip mascara. I'm just going to apply just a little bit of that darker one, just kind of like the eyeliner, just very softly, and it's just really soft definition. Just going for very soft today, and slightly warm neutral, and then I'm going to go for that slightly white reddish one there. I'm just going to go and use that just on the outside, and then I'm just going to put a little bit of something, maybe that one as a highlight, just in a blink it sort of catches the light. So I'm just going to apply a little bit more, just sort of shimmery like that, but it's not massive glitter particles which can scratch your eyes. So what I do is I'll just blend that out so it's nice and soft. And I'm not going to use bother with mascara, because I'm going to have to take extra time to take it off again later. Just going to just comb my brows. Now I'm not going to use a brow pen, which I can use just to, you know, add a bit more definition if I wanted to. So that's pretty much it with the makeup. And so let's just have a quick talk about hair colours. My hair has currently got a fading semi-permanent in it. I don't actually dye my hair very often because I want to prioritise keeping my hair in healthy condition, and also just the cost and the hassle of it. So I can't afford regular hair salon treatments, and I actually get my hair trimmed less frequently than recommended, so that's why you might see it looking a bit overgrown at times and then cut right back. So I stretch out my hair appointments for trims just because of the cost of it on a low income. So anyway, I wanted to talk about colour. So I don't colour my hair very often. I tend to succumb to it when I feel my hair's looking a bit, I don't know, kind of like it's lost some of its richness. And as far as grey's concerned, you have to look really hard to see just the start, like about that long, of silver just starting. But overall, what's happening with me with so far with over 50 is Some people go grey in their 20s, but I haven't, so it's just fading. So what happened is my hair in some photos, it just varies over my lifetime. Sometimes it looks soft, sometimes it looks dark, sometimes it looks warm. Whatever, it's just depends on the photos. My hair, what hairdressers have said, my natural hair colour, which this is close to, is called neutral chocolate. And I put a semi-permanent in called chocolate, bearing in mind that chocolate sometimes does have reddish undertones in it. But I didn't mind if the red was subtle, because I can, I used to dye my hair red sometimes and all, perfectly fine. So sort of do well within the kind of violet to the red range, slightly warm to slightly cool kind of thing. But I don't want to go, I don't want to have, what I've had sometimes with permanent hair colour, go quite too orange, and your hair kind of, you get your incidental sunlight, it tends to bleach back hair a bit, and also with the fading of the pigment, red tends to stick around, and I've been told this by a hairdresser as well. The red tends to stick around, and then you get what's called brassy. Now I can probably get away with a tiny bit of brassiness, but I don't like it when my hair goes really orange. I think it's just too warm then. And so hair colours that I've had in the past, a couple of salon hair colourings in the past, but the worst ones I think for me were, I don't think that highlight suited me at all, and I think this comes down to my suiting better deeper and richer colours, especially deeper and richer reds. But to do the highlights is very damaging if you have darker hair anyway, because you've got to strip it right back, bleach strands of it to blonde, which makes it quite brittle. Then then I want to tone it and all the rest of it. But I think that it just looks like strands of grey hair on me. Honestly, it did not really do anything for me, but I did try it, more than once with different hairdressers. One time a hairdresser talked me into getting a fascist stripe of copper. I kind of like that, it was a little contrast, so it gets the dark hair, but then she talked me into going copper all, my whole head of copper. Now, she convinced me to do it, and when I saw her in photos and videos, I look really green compared to this bright orange hair, essentially. Bright metallic, just the copper was basically like a really bright orange. But I do definitely prefer me richer hair colour. I have gone darker. My hair looks dark in some photos, but it's actually not super dark. I have used a semi-permanent, which actually was kind of borderline permanent really, because it's got peroxide in it. So that's the L'Oreal castings. When you have to mix two things together, it's still gonna be lifting. It might be less than some of the permanent ones, but it's still there. It might not have the ammonia or whatever, but it's still, some hairdressers still consider it to be a permanent hair colour, and so then you might still run into those problems with the brassiness or whatever. But I have used it on occasion. I used to like the more mahogany kind of deep reddish brown colours, and mahogany red, I think they used to have a colour with that. I did use a couple of times one called dark chocolate, and it looked almost black on me. It is significantly darker than my hair, yet I thought, oh my goodness, it's too dark. But after a couple of washes, it people compliment me on it, so I can go. That one was kind of, it said it had golden undertones, so it looked dark but it still had the golden undertones, and even my hairdresser didn't realise at first that I had used it, because she said that it went fine with my complexion. I think just after the initial couple of washes, just to take the edge off how dark it was. I've never dyed my hair black, and I don't intend to. I think that it would be too harsh. I think that the dark chocolate is the darkest that I think is flattering for me. I have in the past used sort of violet range, and that was quite flattering at first, but you know, sort of red violet, quite intense, quite dark, but almost quite bright for me. But then what happened is I just didn't like how it faded at all. It would just end up having a lot of red in it, which then tended to go orange, especially if you were outdoors, you know, going for walks or anything like that. It was just, and then just end up ruining the condition of my hair. So I do like having quite glossy hair most of the time. As my hair usually looks quite glossy in most lighting. In some lightings it might look a little bit softer, but it generally does show quite a lot of gloss. Funny thing is that someone who had seen a photo of me actually thought I was a redhead, which I thought was kind of funny. Obviously hadn't heard of the concept of hair dye. But I think it just gets to a point where, as long as for me it's not too warm or too light or too bright, still got to have that richness there. As far as hairstyle goes, may as well mention this, my hair type is considered to be straight with a slight wave. That's what my hairdresser calls it. So when I have it long, it looks quite straight because the weight's pulling it down, and maybe a bit of a bend at the ends. My hair is very suited to the classic bob, which I used to wear, but I just feel like sometimes a hairstyle, you know, changing and aging and weight changes or whatever, and you know, more fullness around here, that sometimes you're having something with a bit of lift hair is a bit more flattering. So I have had for I think nearly a year layers. So they're fairly reasonably low maintenance, because I'm a pretty low maintenance sort of person. So just when I wash my hair approximately twice a week when it needs it, because I don't want to strip all the oils from my scalp, and also if you wash it too often it can dry your hair out, can also you know, if you've got a colour in there, strip the colour or whatever. So you know, this one that I've used, I can't remember how many washes it was now. I think it was something like 12 washes. I don't think I'm up to my 12 washes, and it's been a month already. I can see, if I look very carefully, it doesn't look obviously silver, but you can see a couple of lighter strands starting to very subtly show. But you know, I won't overuse it because I can't be bothered with the hassle of standing there freezing cold or whatever while it does its thing for half an hour. And then I thought it was a lot less hassle and a lot less mess, and it's creamier. But I don't think I'd you know, bother with every single month or so doing it. I think it was just when I feel like I need a little bit of just a richness restored. So as far as going grey is concerned, I see it's very trendy at the moment for people making content about embracing the grey or whatever. Good on them, whatever. But I think that the way that my colouring is going, I do suit better, I feel, the richness. So, but I can't afford grey blending and all of the rest of the salon treatments. So I think that my plan is that I'm just going to avoid permanent colour altogether, which I generally avoid anyway, but I think I'll avoid anything that's got any peroxide whatsoever, so that includes the castings one. It would just fade out nicely, and then have like a little bit of balayage when I had the, you know, longer hair. Oh, I forgot to say that, yeah, so when I style my hair, basically it's pretty easy. I just use a little bit of leave-in conditioner, which it's a hairdresser one, but you only use a little bit the size of a pea, and then I have a little bit of mousse in the top area, dry it off nearly completely dry, then put the rollers in, warm them up with a hairdryer, not overcooking them because I don't want to frizz my hair. Because I saw some people pull out their Velcro rollers and they had their hair all staticky. I don't generally have a static problem with my hair. I think, you know, maybe it's because I'm not overheating it, over drying it, but also I think just a little bit of leave-in conditioner helps as well. So I put the leave-in conditioner sort of the mids to the ends, and just the teeniest amount, you know, just makes the difference and just helps keep everything in good condition. So as far as, because I've seen some people say, oh no, so I've been wondering about how so-called deep autumns are grey, so sort of weird colours, my preference usually in the palettes of what gets called the deep autumn and the deep winter, somewhere in that region are generally my more flattering colours, but you don't have to stick to it. I don't, when I shop, all I just think about is, okay, I set more of those colours than those colours. Generally, it's as easy as that. You don't need to pay hundreds of dollars for it. And then if you were a pastels person, you would look at the lighter colours, you know, so these colours around here, and then you might find that generally the ones, warmer ones, the more yellows and oranges might suit you better, or you might find the cooler ones, the more, you know, lilacs and the blues might suit you better. But it's really just holding it up and seeing if you like it or not. As simple as that. I think what's happening is just softening my colouring a little bit. But then again, when I was a child, my colouring was very soft. It was very soft and warm. Now we're going sort of deep and then slightly soft. And then I think we're just also just neutral with slight warmth, but I also can go slight cool. So, you know, I like the plum lipsticks and stuff on me, and sort of that kind of thing. So generally just a little bit muted suits me better than super bold and super bright. Those I sometimes wear bright colours, but they just, yeah, they can be a bit you know, bold on me. But you know, just I don't like extremely greyed all over. I feel like I need to add something with more saturation, you know, to look a bit more lively, because my own colouring is a little bit muted. So I think that my plan with my hair is occasionally might use something like the one that I just used, which was easy enough. It wasn't fluffing around, and then it had none of the chemicals that lift your hair. All it does is just depositing, so and it just fades out quite quickly, but it seems to last at least a month if you're not washing your hair every day. With the semi, is in the one that I'm using, which is really just a colour deposit one rather than a lifting, a gentle lift one as well, lifting up the, you know, the darkness of the hair to lighter. I think that and opening the cuticle slightly, apparently that's what it does, which then makes it more damage, which really makes it more prone to brassiness and what have you. I think that that when it's just deposited on the outside, it will fade. Well, I think it looks like it's fading just to my natural colour, and my natural colour wasn't too different. So I thought, well, I don't think I would want to go now into mahogany red here, because I think that having neutral here does give me more options to wear the warmer and the cooler colours. When I go more into the autumn with my hair as well, it just makes me feel confined to those kind of colours. I kind of like spending the neutrality of the whole thing. So, and also just the richness. So in some lighting my hair might look warmer and cooler and a bit of both. It's just the way the light reflects. But because I see people even with the grey hair who have grown it all out, they are using depositing products as well. So they're using what do they call them, toners and other products. Another product I saw used, it was a gloss which made the grey hair look a lot shinier, because apparently the grey hair often is more textured and you know, harder to deal with. But there's all these other products people are using. So I think for me, it's just a matter of, I think I'll just end up using a semi without the bleach in it. The peroxide is the bleach. Without the bleach, without anything harsh in it like the ammonia or whatever, just really a colour deposit that just fades out. And then I'll probably just, we'll just see how we go. It depends how fast I grey. Just with my dad, who was blonde, it wasn't really obvious that when he greyed because he's lighter hair, but with my mum, black hair, salt and pepper very salt and pepper. So who knows how I will grow. And also with the hair, even their hair texture is different. Mum had curly hair, Dad had straight hair. So it's kind of we'll just have to see. But there's not really many examples of the deep autumns going grey naturally. The only one I've seen quoted was I think Andy McDonnell, I think that's his surname. But everyone else seems to just keep colouring the hair. So anyway, I think it's just whether you can be bothered to and whether you can afford to, especially if you're going to salons. Definitely, you know, anything that takes lots of time is very, very expensive, involving bleach especially. That's me, thanks.